35 degrees in Miami this morning. Your city might be seeing temperatures 30, 40, maybe even 50 degrees below what's normal for early February. Right now, over 150 million Americans are waking up to the coldest air many of you have felt in more than 15 years, with falling iguanas littering South Florida, record-breaking snow still on the ground across the Carolinas, and wind chills that could, well, actually be dangerous across most of the eastern half of the country. But here is what's interesting, and what I need you to stick around for over the next 25 minutes. This pattern is about to shift in a major way by midweek. The jet stream is taking a completely different configuration, and that S going to change who sees snow, who sees the most brutal cold, and honestly, where the next 7 to 10 days could bring some of the most challenging weather of the entire winter season. I'm going to tell you in just about 30 seconds exactly when your area will start feeling relief, or honestly, when things might get worse. But first, I need you to do something. Drop your city or town in the comments right now. Seriously, just your location, because tomorrow's forecast, I am going to go through those comments, and I am going to give personalized timing for as many of you as I can. The more specific you are, the better I can help you prepare for what's coming your way over this next week. All right, let me give you those timings I promised. If you're in Boston, you're looking at another brutally cold day today with highs barely reaching 21 degrees, but by Tuesday, you should be closer to 38. Philadelphia, similar story. You are at 27 today, climbing to 42 by Tuesday afternoon. Now down in Atlanta, here's where it gets interesting. You are at 37 right now, but you are actually going to warm faster than cities to your north, reaching into the mid-50s by Monday. Charlotte, after that massive snowstorm yesterday that dropped close to 1.5 feet in some spots near Greensboro, you're looking at a high today of only 34, staying below freezing until Monday when you finally break into the low 50s. And for those of you down in Miami Beach where it hit 35 degrees this morning, the coldest since December 2010, you all see low 50s today, but you are back near 70 by Wednesday. So here's what we are dealing with right now. There's this massive trough, this big dip in the jet stream that's been parked over the eastern United States for the past several days. And what it has been doing is acting like a highway for Arctic air to just pour down from Canada all the way into Florida. That's why we've got these absolutely crazy temperature departures. We were talking 20 to 35 degrees below average across almost the entire East Coast this morning. But, and this is really important, that pattern starts to break down tomorrow night into Tuesday. The jet stream is going to lift back to the north. It's going to take on more of a northwest to southeast flow instead of this really amplified north to south dip that we've had. And what that means, at least for a few days, is quieter weather. Not necessarily warm, but quieter. Now, I mentioned earlier the Carolinas getting slammed with snow. Let me actually talk about that for a second, because some of those snowfall totals were legitimately impressive. Areas around Asheboro, Greensboro, extending back towards Charlotte, we saw widespread 12 to 18 inches. That's real snow. That is the kind of stuff that shuts things down in that part of the country because the infrastructure just isn't built for it. Raleigh, you guys unfortunately got the short end of the stick with that storm. There was this big dry slot that developed and you ended up with maybe 1, 2, 3 inches for most of you. Some isolated spots got closer to 5 or 6. Back near the coast, Cape Hatteras area, over a foot in many locations. That storm overperformed significantly compared to what models were showing even 24 hours out. And that S actually going to be relevant when I talk about what S coming later this week. Let S talk about what happens over the next 7 days, because it S not just one thing. It S a series of different weather events that are going to affect different parts of the country at different times. Tomorrow, Monday, we've got light to moderate snow expected across the northern plains and upper Midwest. Nothing major, but it S snow. Couple of inches possible from parts of North Dakota down through Minnesota into Wisconsin. That S underneath a high pressure system that is going to be moving through, and right behind that high, you're going to get another reinforcing shot of cold air pushing into the Midwest Tuesday. Tuesday night, early Wednesday, there's going to be a weak, and I want to emphasize weak, low pressure system that develops somewhere in the Ohio Valley. This is probably going to bring some light snow to Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia. We talking a couple of inches for most areas, maybe isolated spots near 3 to 4. It's not a major storm, but it is additional snow on top of what you've already dealt with this winter. And then as we go Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, there's a possibility of some snow reaching into Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey. These are areas that honestly got robbed from that last storm. The European model had been showing significant snow for you guys, and it just stayed too far south and east. This system midweek might give you something, but don't get your hopes up for significant accumulation. Late Wednesday, early Thursday, there could be some lingering moisture in the Carolinas that produces additional light snow for Virginia, the Appalachian Mountains, maybe parts of North Carolina again. I am not talking about another major winter storm, just some light snow that might add up to an inch in isolated locations. Thursday should actually be the quietest day of the week. No major systems expected, but Thursday is when we need to start watching closely because we're going to have not one but two Alberta clippers coming out of Canada. An Alberta clipper, for those of you who aren't familiar, is basically a fast-moving, relatively weak storm system that forms in Alberta, Canada, and then races across the northern tier of the United States. They don't typically produce huge snowfall amounts, but they can drop several inches pretty quickly, and they are notorious for creating travel problems because they move so fast. Friday morning, these two systems, depending on how they interact, could bring some heavy snow to Wisconsin, Minnesota, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and then another system pushing into the Northeast. The real question is whether these two clippers kind of merge together, or phase as we call it meteorologically. If they phase, if they combine their energy, we could end up seeing a pretty widespread snow event across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Northeast Friday into early Saturday. This could potentially extend as far south as North Carolina and Virginia again. And then Saturday, that snow should linger around New England, and here, where it gets interesting, it could actually form into a pretty intense storm system just to the east of New England Saturday and Sunday. If that happens, and I'm going to tell you right now the models are not in agreement on this, it would be very windy Saturday and Sunday across the Northeast, which would make it feel even colder than it already is going to be. Let me pull back for a second and talk about the bigger picture, because I think around minute 17 or 18, I am going to get into some of the more technical atmospheric setup. But right now, I want to focus on temperatures because that what's going to matter most to your daily life. Today, like I mentioned, we've got these extreme departures from normal. Most of the East Coast dealing with temperatures 20 to 30 degrees below average. Tomorrow, it starts to moderate a little bit. Not everywhere. The Northeast is still going to be very cold, but the Southeast should start seeing improvement. Tuesday is when things really start to turn around for a lot of areas. We re-looking at temperatures back into the 50s and 60s all along the Gulf Coast. The snow is going to start melting across the Carolinas and Virginia, which honestly creates its own set of problems with all that water having to go somewhere. The Northeast and Midwest, though, you're going to continue to remain pretty cold. Then Wednesday, another Arctic front comes through, and this one is mainly going to impact the Ohio Valley and the Northeast. But the really significant cold, the cold that I think a lot of you need to be preparing for, that comes next weekend. We re-looking at the potential for sub-zero temperatures across large parts of the Northeast going into Sunday morning. Not wind chill, actual air temperature. When you factor in wind chill, some areas could be seeing feels like temperatures 20, 30 below zero. That's dangerous. That's the kind of cold where if you not prepared, if your car breaks down, if you get stuck outside for any length of time, you could be in serious trouble. Now, how cold are we talking specifically? Let's go city by city because I know that's what you want to hear. Buffalo, you could be looking at an overnight low near -5 Sunday morning, wind chills potentially reaching -25. Syracuse, similar situation, maybe -2 for the actual temperature. Rochester, 0 degrees. Burlington, Vermont, you could hit -8. Even down in New York City, we might see temperatures drop into the mid to upper teens with wind chills in the single digits. Boston, low teens for temperature, wind chills potentially reaching 0 or just below. Pittsburgh, you are looking at around 10 degrees Sunday morning. Cleveland, probably mid-single digits. Detroit, upper single digits. Chicago, this is where it gets brutal. You could be sitting at -3 Sunday morning with wind chills reaching -20 or lower. Milwaukee, -5. Minneapolis, you are looking at potentially -15 with wind chills down near -40. That stay inside weather. That don't go out unless you absolutely have to weather. Columbus, Ohio, mid-teens. Indianapolis, low teens. Cincinnati, around 15. St. Louis, probably upper teens. Down through the mid-Atlantic, Washington, D.C., you were looking at low to mid-20s, which for you is still quite cold. Baltimore, similar numbers. Richmond, Virginia, mid-20s. And here's what's interesting. This cold air, once it settles in next weekend, it might just sit there for a while. The pattern that S setting up suggests that the Northeast could be dealing with persistent below-average temperatures through at least the middle of next week, possibly longer. I'm going to get updated model runs tomorrow, and I'll have a better handle on exactly how long this cold lingers, but right now, it's looking like a brutal stretch for anyone from the Ohio Valley northward and eastward. Let me shift gears and talk about snowfall potential because we've talked a lot about cold, but snow is obviously a big part of this story too. The Alberta Clippers I mentioned for Friday, those could drop anywhere from 3 to 6 inches across parts of Wisconsin and Minnesota. The upper peninsula of Michigan, you could see similar totals. Northern New England, when that system moves through Friday into Saturday, you might pick up 4 to 8 inches depending on exact track. Now, if those two clippers phase together, all bets are off. We could see significantly higher totals across a wider area. The GFS model, the American model, has been showing this potential for a few days now. The European model has been a little more conservative, keeping the systems separate, and this is actually a perfect example of why I keep telling you to come back tomorrow, because these differences matter. The GFS track would bring heavy snow from Chicago across to Boston. The European track keeps the heaviest snow more confined to northern New England. That's a huge difference for cities like Detroit, Cleveland, Buffalo, Albany, even down to Philadelphia and New York City. I need to be honest with you, when models disagree like this about system phasing, it usually means we are 3 to 4 days out from the event and things haven't fully come into focus yet. What I can tell you is that the ingredients are there for a significant snow event. We've got cold air, we've got energy coming out of Canada, we've got some moisture to work with. The question is just how it all comes together. Tomorrow's model runs are going to be critical. I'll be watching the 12Z that the noon model runs and the 0Z runs tomorrow night to see if there is any convergence between the different model solutions. All right, how are you doing out there in Tampa? Getting up to about 58 today after some actual snow flurries this morning, which is just wild to think about. Tomorrow you are at 65, Tuesday near 70, Jacksonville, mid-50s today, mid-60s tomorrow, upper 60s Tuesday. Savannah, Georgia, upper 40s today, upper 50s tomorrow, mid-60s Tuesday. Charleston, South Carolina, you are sitting at 45 right now after getting some snow yesterday from that coastal storm. Tomorrow, 52. Tuesday, upper 50s. Columbia, South Carolina, you guys got decent snow too, about 6 to 8 inches in some spots. You are at 39 today, 48 tomorrow, upper 50s Tuesday. Raleigh, we talked about you earlier, mid-40s today, mid-50s tomorrow, low 60s Tuesday. Norfolk, Virginia, upper 40s today, mid-50s tomorrow, low 60s Tuesday. Wilmington, North Carolina, you right on the coast, so you stayed warmer through all this, low 50s today, upper 50s tomorrow, mid-60s Tuesday. Greensboro, after that 18 inches of snow some of you saw, you are only getting to 36 today, mid-40s tomorrow, upper 50s Tuesday. You've got a long melt ahead of you. Knoxville, Tennessee, upper 40s today, upper 50s tomorrow, low 60s Tuesday. Nashville, upper 40s today, mid-50s tomorrow, low 60s Tuesday. Memphis, mid-50s today, upper 50s tomorrow, mid-60s Tuesday. Little Rock, Arkansas, mid-50s today, upper 50s tomorrow, low 60s Tuesday. New Orleans, you already warming up nicely, upper 60s today, low 70s tomorrow, mid-70s Tuesday. Let's head west. Dallas, you got pretty cold too, upper 50s today, low 60s tomorrow, upper 60s Tuesday. Houston, mid-60s today, upper 60s tomorrow, low 70s Tuesday. San Antonio, upper 60s today, low 70s tomorrow, mid-70s Tuesday. Austin, mid-60s today, low 70s tomorrow, mid-70s Tuesday. Oklahoma City, mid-50s today, mid-50s tomorrow, low 60s Tuesday. Tulsa, similar, mid-50s today, upper 50s tomorrow, low 60s Tuesday. Kansas City, low 40s today, low 40s tomorrow, upper 40s Tuesday. You are staying colder longer than areas to your south. Let's jump up to the Great Lakes. Milwaukee, we talked about how cold next weekend looks for you, but this weekend you in the low 20s 20s tomorrow, upper 20s Tuesday, low 30s. Madison, Wisconsin, low 20s today, mid 20s tomorrow, upper 20s Tuesday. Green Bay, upper teens today, mid 20s tomorrow, upper 20s Tuesday. Marquette, Michigan, up in the Upper Peninsula, mid teens today, low 20s tomorrow, mid 20s Tuesday. And Erie going to get hammered with lake effect snow later this week. Grand Rapids, Michigan, low 20s today, upper 20s tomorrow, low 30s Tuesday. Lansing, low 20s today, upper 20s tomorrow, low 30s Tuesday. Ann Arbor, mid 20s today, upper 20s tomorrow, low 30s Tuesday. Flint, low 20s today, upper 20s tomorrow, low 30s Tuesday. Saginaw, low 20s today, upper 20s tomorrow, low 30s Tuesday, down through the Midwest. Des Moines, Iowa, low 20s today, low 20s tomorrow, upper 20s Tuesday. Omaha, Nebraska, mid-20s today, mid-20s tomorrow, low 30s Tuesday. Lincoln, upper 20s today, upper 20s tomorrow, low 30s Tuesday. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, low 20s today, low 20s tomorrow, upper 20s Tuesday. Rapid City, mid-30s today, low 40s tomorrow, mid-40s Tuesday. Fargo, North Dakota, Erie in the single digits today, low teens tomorrow, mid-teens Tuesday. Bismarck, low teens today, mid-teens tomorrow, upper teens Tuesday. Duluth, Minnesota, single digits today, low teens tomorrow, mid-teens Tuesday. Minneapolis, we talked about you already, mid-teens today, upper teens tomorrow, mid-20s Tuesday, but then brutal cold next weekend. Let me hit the Northeast corridor more thoroughly. Portland, Maine, low 20s today, upper 20s tomorrow, mid-30s Tuesday. Concord, New Hampshire, low 20s today, upper 20s tomorrow, mid-30s Tuesday. Burlington, upper teens today, mid-20s tomorrow, low 30s Tuesday. Albany, New York, low 20s today, upper 20s tomorrow, mid-30s Tuesday. Syracuse, upper 20s today, low 30s tomorrow, mid-30s Tuesday. Buffalo, we mentioned your next weekend forecast, but this week you are at upper 20s today, low 30s tomorrow, mid-30s Tuesday. Erie, Pennsylvania, upper 20s today, low 30s tomorrow, mid-30s Tuesday. Scranton, low 30s today, mid-30s tomorrow, low 40s Tuesday. Allentown, low 30s today, mid-30s tomorrow, low 40s Tuesday. New York City, upper 30s today, low 40s tomorrow, upper 40s Tuesday. Newark, similar, upper 30s today, low 40s tomorrow, upper 40s Tuesday. Trenton, mid-30s today, low 40s tomorrow, mid-40s Tuesday. Hartford, Connecticut, low 30s today, mid-30s tomorrow, low 40s Tuesday. Providence, Rhode Island, low 30s today, upper 30s tomorrow, low 40s Tuesday. Let me talk about the Appalachian region. Asheville, North Carolina, you got some snow too. Low 40s today, upper 40s tomorrow, mid-50s Tuesday. Roanoke, Virginia, low 40s today, upper 40s tomorrow, mid-50s Tuesday. Charleston, West Virginia, mid-30s today, low 40s tomorrow, upper 40s Tuesday. Huntington, West Virginia, mid-30s today, low 40s tomorrow, upper 40s Tuesday. Morgantown, low 30s today, mid-30s tomorrow, low 40s Tuesday. Midwest continuing. Springfield, Illinois, low 30s today, mid-30s tomorrow, low 40s Tuesday. Peoria, upper 20s today, low 30s tomorrow, upper 30s Tuesday. Rockford, upper 20s today, low 30s tomorrow, mid-30s Tuesday. South Bend, Indiana, upper 20s today, low 30s tomorrow, mid-30s Tuesday. Fort Wayne, upper 20s today, low 30s tomorrow, mid-30s Tuesday. Evansville, mid-30s today, low 40s tomorrow, upper 40s Tuesday. Louisville, Kentucky, mid-30s today, mid-40s tomorrow, low 50s Tuesday. Lexington, mid-30s today, low 40s tomorrow, low 50s Tuesday. Mountain West. Denver, you've been relatively mild, mid-40s today, upper 40s tomorrow, low 50s Tuesday. Colorado Springs, low 40s today, mid-40s tomorrow, upper 40s Tuesday. Salt Lake City, upper 30s today, low 40s tomorrow, mid-40s Tuesday. Boise, Idaho, low 40s today, low 40s tomorrow, mid-40s Tuesday. Pacific Northwest. Seattle, low 50s today, low 50s tomorrow, mid-50s Tuesday, and you are one of the few regions that might actually see some rain this week. Portland, Oregon, low 50s today, low 50s tomorrow, mid-50s Tuesday. Spokane, mid-30s today, upper 30s tomorrow, low 40s Tuesday. California and Southwest, you are staying warm and dry, which is actually becoming a concern from a drought perspective. Los Angeles, low 70s today, low 70s tomorrow, low 70s Tuesday. San Diego, upper 60s today, upper 60s tomorrow, upper 60s Tuesday. San Francisco, low 60s today, low 60s tomorrow, low 60s Tuesday. Sacramento, mid-50s today, mid-50s tomorrow, upper 50s Tuesday. Phoenix, low 70s today, mid-70s tomorrow, mid-70s Tuesday. Las Vegas, mid-60s today, mid-60s tomorrow, upper 60s Tuesday. Tucson, low 70s today, low 70s tomorrow, mid-70s Tuesday. Albuquerque, mid-50s today, mid-50s tomorrow, upper 50s Tuesday. Now I want to talk about something that's probably been on the radar of weather enthusiasts, but maybe hasn't gotten enough mainstream attention yet, and that's what is happening up in the stratosphere. About 2 weeks ago, we started seeing signs of a sudden stratospheric warming event. For those of you not familiar, the stratosphere is way up high, around 10 to 30 miles above the Earth's surface, and during winter there's normally this circulation of really cold air spinning around the North Pole called the polar vortex. Sometimes planetary waves from lower in the atmosphere can propagate upward and disrupt this circulation. When that happens, the stratosphere can warm very rapidly, sometimes by 40, 50, even 60 degrees in just a few days. That's called a sudden stratospheric warming. And what it can do is weaken or even split the polar vortex into multiple pieces. When that happens, all that cold air that was spinning around the pole in an organized way suddenly becomes disorganized and can slosh out into the mid-latitudes. That means places like North America and Europe can see extended periods of very cold weather. Now here's what's interesting. The stratospheric warming event that started a couple weeks ago is continuing to evolve. Some of the long-range models, particularly the Canadian model, are showing continued cold air support over Western Canada and the northern and central United States extending well into February. This isn't just random cold snaps. This is a persistent pattern that could keep temperatures below average for an extended period. The timing of when these stratospheric events translate to impacts at the surface is tricky. It usually takes anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks. We're already seeing some of those impacts with the current cold outbreak, but there could be additional waves of cold air coming as we move through February. The latest model runs are hinting at another potentially significant Arctic outbreak around the middle of the month, maybe February 10th through 20th timeframe. I want to be clear about something. I am not saying it is going to be 30 below zero from now until March. These patterns come in waves. We'll have cold periods followed by breaks, followed by more cold. But the overall pattern favors below average temperatures for a large part of the eastern half of the country through at least mid-February, possibly into late February. The GFS Model S extended forecast is showing pretty persistent troughing over the East Coast. The European model is showing something similar. When you have multiple models agreeing on a broad pattern like that, even if they disagree on specifics, it gives you confidence that the overall idea is probably correct. The polar vortex disruption that we are seeing is real. It is happening now, and it's going to have downstream consequences for our weather. Now, I mentioned tomorrow I'd go through comments and give personalized forecasts. I really meant that. The more I can understand where you are and what your specific concerns are, whether it is travel, whether it is agriculture, whether it is just trying to figure out if you need to winterize your home more, the better I can tailor tomorrow's video to actually help you. So please take 10 seconds right now and drop your location in the comments. Let me wrap up the snowfall discussion before we move toward the close here. The lake effect snow machine is going to fire up again later this week. We've already seen some impressive lake effect totals this season. Parts of Michigan have picked up 4 to 5 feet of snow just from lake effect so far this winter. This week could add another 1 to 2 feet in the usual suspects: the Tug Hill Plateau in New York, the snow belts east and south of the Great Lakes. What makes lake effect snow so impactful is how localized it can be. You can have one town getting buried with 2 feet of snow while 5 miles away they barely see flurries. It all depends on exactly where those lake effect bands set up. The wind direction determines which shorelines get hit. With the multiple shots of cold air coming this week, those wind directions are going to be shifting, which means different areas are going to get hammered at different times. For those of you in the primary lake effect snowbelts, you know the drill. Keep an eye on short-term forecasts because what looks like a manageable situation can turn into whiteout conditions very quickly when those bands intensify and stall out. And with the bitter cold we are expecting next weekend, any snow that falls is going to be the light, fluffy kind that blows around easily. Visibility is going to be a real problem. I haven't talked much about ice yet, and honestly, that's because the setup this week doesn't really favor major ice events. Most of the precipitation that falls is going to be snow because we've got such deep cold air in place. But there could be some pockets where you get a little bit of that freezing rain, drizzle, sleet kind of mix, particularly along the edges of systems as they move through Maryland, Delaware, southern Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey, northern Virginia. You are in that zone where you could see some mixed precipitation midweek. Probably not enough to cause major problems, but enough to make roads slick. Just something to be aware of. The Carolinas, with all the snow you've got on the ground right now, as temperatures warm up Monday and Tuesday, you're going to see that start to melt. But then if we get any additional precipitation Wednesday or Thursday, even light stuff, and temperatures drop back down Wednesday night, you could have some refreezing issues. Black ice is going to be a concern for several mornings this week across the areas that got snow from Friday's storm. Let's talk wind for a minute because that's been a factor with some of these systems, and it's going to continue to be. That coastal storm that brought all the snow to the Carolinas also produced some very impressive wind gusts along the coast. Cape Hatteras saw gusts over 60 miles per hour, Nantucket over 70. Those kinds of winds with falling or blowing snow create whiteout conditions. They also create significant coastal flooding concerns. The system that might develop off New England this weekend, if it comes together the way some models are suggesting, could produce similar wind issues for coastal New England. We talking sustained winds of 30 to 40 miles per hour with gusts potentially over 60. In the middle of winter, with cold air in place, those winds drive wind chills down into dangerous territory. They also make it really hard for utility crews to work if there are any power outages. Just something to think about. Out west, the story continues to be warm and dry for most areas. That ridge of high pressure that's been dominating the pattern is just not budging. California, the Southwest, the Rockies, you're seeing temperatures above average and precipitation well below average. That's great if you like nice weather, but it's terrible from a water supply and drought perspective. Snowpack in the Sierra Nevada is running below average. The Colorado River Basin is below average. This is concerning as we head towards spring. The one exception out west is the Pacific Northwest. Western Washington, northwestern Oregon. You should see some periods of rain and mountain snow this week as the jet stream dips just far enough south to bring some systems through. It won't to be a lot, but it is something. For areas like Seattle and Portland that have been pretty dry lately, you'll take what you can get. The long-range pattern, and I am talking 3 to 4 weeks out now, so take this with a grain of salt, suggests that we might see a pattern flip toward mid to late February where the West finally starts seeing more active weather and the East gets a break from the persistent cold. There's some analogs to February 2018 that are interesting. That year started cold and snowy in the East, warm and dry in the West, and then flipped in the second half of the month. We'll see if 2026 follows a similar playbook. All right, before I close this out, I want to come back to something I mentioned earlier about uncertainty. Everything I've told you today is based on the best available data as of this morning. Model runs from last night and this morning. But weather is chaotic. Small changes in the atmosphere now can lead to big changes in the forecast later. That Alberta Clipper situation for Friday is a perfect example. Models are split on whether those systems phase or not. That's not because meteorologists are bad at their jobs. It is because we were right at the edge of predictability for that time frame. So here's what I need you to understand. The broad pattern IV described, the cold lasting through next weekend, the potential for snow Friday into Saturday, the overall idea that February is shaping up to be an active month, I am pretty confident in that. The specifics of exactly how much snow falls in your city, or exactly what time the cold front arrives, or exactly how low temperatures drop, those details are going to change as we get closer. That is why I keep asking you to come back tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll have new model runs to look at. I'll have updated information about that Alberta Clipper phase situation. I'll have a better handle on next weekend's cold and whether it extends into the following week. And I'll have your comments from today that I can address specifically. Here's what we know for certain. Today is brutally cold across the east. Tomorrow and Tuesday bring some moderation. Wednesday brings another cold front. Thursday and Friday bring snow potential for the Great Lakes and Northeast. Next weekend brings potentially dangerous cold to much of the Midwest and Northeast, and the broader pattern through mid-February favors continued below-average temperatures and active weather for the eastern half of the country. If you are in an area that's going to see that extreme cold next weekend, now is the time to prepare. Check your home heating system. Make sure you've got enough fuel if you use oil or propane. Protect your pipes. Bring pets inside. Check on elderly neighbors. Have a plan for if you lose power. This is serious cold we are talking about. For those of you dealing with snow on the ground right now or expecting more this week, same thing. Make sure you re-prepared. Have a snow removal plan. Keep your gas tank full. Have emergency supplies in your car if you need to travel. This is winter weather that demands respect and preparation. I know a lot of you are probably tired of cold and tired of winter at this point. We are only a month in and it feels like it's been relentless across much of the country. But we're going to get through it. Spring is coming even if it doesn't feel like it right now. In the meantime, we've got to deal with the pattern we have, not the pattern we wish we had. So let me give you the plan. Come back tomorrow. I am going to dive deeper into that Friday snow potential with updated model data. I am going to have more refined temperature forecasts for next weekend's Arctic blast. I am going to talk more about that mid-February pattern and what the latest long-range models are showing. And I am going to go through as many of your comments as I can and give you personalized information for your area. Before I go, one more time, drop your location in the comments, city and state, or if you are in a smaller town, nearest big city works too. The more people who comment, the more comprehensive tomorrow's community forecast can be. This has been a pretty heavy forecast, a lot of cold, a lot of snow, a lot of things to track over the coming week. But I'd rather give you the full picture now so you can prepare than sugarcoat it and have you caught off guard. The weather doesn't care about our preferences, it just does what it does. Our job is to understand it, prepare for it, and help each other through it. Thank you for sticking with me through this whole thing. I know 25 minutes is a big ask in today's world, but weather like this deserves a thorough explanation. If you found this helpful, if it answered your questions or helped you understand what is coming, let me know in the comments. If you have questions I didn't address, ask them. Tomorrow's video will be better because of your engagement today. Stay warm out there, especially if you in those brutally cold areas right now. Bundle up, be safe, and I will see you tomorrow with updated information.